All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're jumping into a huge, timeless debate. Reason versus love. You know, the head versus the heart. But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? What if they aren't enemies at all? We're going to dive into a really profound argument that shows a kind of hidden harmony between them.
So let's just get right to it. Are reason and love enemies? I mean, are they really these two forces that are always at odds? Is it always a choice you have to make between one or the other? Or could there be a totally different way to understand this relationship? Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll lay out the classic conflict, the way we usually see it. Then we'll dig into this idea of worldly reason. And after that, we'll look at the incredible pull of love. And then, here's the best part. We'll see how they actually come together, leading up to a seriously powerful historical example that ties it all up.
All right, first things first. Let's set the stage. Let's talk about the way this conflict is usually framed. Like a battlefield. We're often told it's a rivalry, a constant tug of war, where you have to pick a side, right? Head or heart. So, on one side, you've got reason, or in the terminology we'll be using, akal. Think of this as your inner calculator. It's all about logic, weighing the pros and cons, the profit and the loss. And on the other side, we've got love, or ishq. This is that overwhelming feeling, surrender, sacrifice, pure emotion. It's the ultimate showdown, right? Your head tells you what's smart, what's sensible, but your heart just pulls you in a direction and the cost doesn't even matter.
Okay, but here's where things get really interesting. To actually get this argument, we have to zoom in on reason. Because the source we're looking at says the problem isn't reason itself. Nope. It's a very specific kind of reason.
And that's what's called akal juzi, which basically translates to partial reason. I love the analogy of an inner accountant. That's perfect. Its whole job is to look at worldly, tangible things, profit and loss. It breaks everything down, analyzes it to death. And the bottom line question is always the same. What's in it for me, in this world, right now?
And this is a perfect example of how limited that kind of thinking can be. The source actually points to some of the early followers of the Prophet Muhammad who were stuck in this mode. So when their faith started demanding real sacrifices, things that just didn't make sense from a simple, worldly cost-benefit analysis, what happened? Their calculating reason kicked in and they started to object. It's like their intellect was just stuck, completely trapped at the material level.
Okay, so that's the worldly calculation side. Now, let's flip the coin. What about this other force, this thing we call love or ishq? Now, this is so important. Ishq here isn't being defined as some blind, out-of-control emotion. Not at all. It's described as a powerful, almost irresistible attraction. It's a conscious pull towards something or someone that you recognize has immense value. So this isn't just a whim. It's more like a magnetic force. And it's totally rooted in awareness, in a kind of knowing.
So there we have it. Calculating reason over here, profound love over there. It looks like a clear conflict, right? Well, this is the big twist. The whole idea that they're enemies is a huge misunderstanding. The real story, the deeper truth, is about how they come together.
And this quote just lays it out perfectly. I see no contradiction between reason and love. A person can be rational and a lover at the same time. It's not that they just tolerate each other. It's that true higher reason and true profound love are not in conflict. They're not just compatible. They're practically two sides of the same coin.
So you might be thinking, wait, but it feels like a battle sometimes. And you're right. But the conflict isn't between reason and love as pure concepts. No, the real clash is between that lower-level, worldly, calculating reason and a higher, transcendent love. It's not about reason versus love. It's about lower reason versus higher love. It's a conflict of levels.
Okay, so how does this harmony actually work in practice? This is where our source just flips the whole script. It argues that you don't start with blind faith and then try to rationalize it. It's the other way around. You start by being rational. Your higher reason, not the calculating kind, allows you to recognize that there's a reality beyond just the material world. And once you see that, well, the most logical, the most rational thing you can possibly do is to submit to that higher reality. And get this, that act of rational submission, that is the bedrock, the foundation of true faith and profound love. So reason isn't the enemy of love. It literally leads you right to its door. And this just leads to an absolutely mind-blowing conclusion. It means that your capacity for real, deep faith and love, it's directly proportional to the depth of your intellect. Your higher reason, of course. Think about that. A shallow intellect can only lead to a shallow faith. But a truly deep, profound intellect, that's what opens the door to a truly profound religion. They're not in competition. They actually grow together. And the place where this all happens, where this harmony is achieved, is the heart. The source talks about something called the Qalb's Salim, which means the sound heart. This is our emotional center, right? And for it to be sound, or healthy, its incredibly powerful feelings need to be guided, to be harmonized by that higher reason we've been talking about. Because let's face it, unchecked emotions can be a total disaster. But emotions that are guided by deep wisdom, that's when they become something truly beautiful and powerful.
Okay, so this is a great theory, but is there a place we can see it in action? Like a real-world example of this perfect harmony between the highest reason and the most profound love? Well, our source points to one ultimate, dramatic, historical moment.
We're talking about the event of Karbala and the story of Imam Hussein, the grandson of the Prophet Muhammad. This event is presented as the ultimate manifestation, the living, breathing embodiment of everything we've been discussing. This is where all that abstract philosophy crashes into the real world and becomes concrete.
And this is really the core of it. Imam Hussein's stand at Karbala, it wasn't a choice between being rational or being loving. No. The whole point, according to this view, is that it was the moment where the highest form of reason and the most profound form of love became one and the same thing. They fused together, expressed in a single, timeless act. So to really understand Karbala from this perspective, we have to look past just the tragedy, just the emotion. We have to see it as an act of supreme knowledge and wisdom. There's a special term for this, marifat. This brings everything full circle, doesn't it? That deep awareness we talked about with Ishq and that perception of a higher reality through Aql, it all comes together in this deep experiential understanding. So Karbala wasn't passion acting against logic. It was a confrontation between supreme knowledge and supreme ignorance, where every single action was wise, deliberate, and guided by divine reason. And it was that very reason that fueled the ultimate act of divine love.
So, this leaves us with a pretty provocative question to chew on. We're so conditioned to see reason and love as this trade-off. You can have one or you can have the other. But what if that's completely the wrong frame? What if the path of true higher reason doesn't take you away from love, but instead leads you directly to it, to its highest, deepest, and most powerful expression?